Welcome back, troglodytes, to your daily dose of guitar information, the Trogly's Guitar Show. We're here today with Mr. Gold. He's going to share our collection because I bought some guitars from him and took a road trip. So what's in our first one here, Mr. Gold?
So this is a Gibson Les Paul Custom 2008 in red. Looks a little bit brighter than wine red, but I'm not sure what kind of red to call it. Can't remember the dealer that I got it from, but it was off of Reverb, and it was probably my first Reverb purchase that I ever made. And I think I bought it about 6 years ago.
Now, is this like one of your favorite players, or is it mainly bought for the color?
Bought for the color, and my daughter made me promise that I hold on to it for her if she ever would like it. So it's not one that I'm necessarily attached to. It is beautiful, but she asked me to keep it. I'm going to hold on to it. Other than that, I might have sold it a year or two ago, but it is pretty.
Now, guitar number 2, I think I recognize this case. How have you been liking this one?
I love this one, and I think it is one that you'll recognize. It's a favorite of mine. The Vegas Standard, the Mini Trini.
In the semi-teardrop tobacco sunburst. Like, if you really get on it, technically, yes, it is still a rim burst, but that thing's just gorgeous. I love this model, especially in this finish. The Vegas series, that's kind of one of those interesting ones where they blend a whole bunch of different models together. You can check out the full review and demo here if you want to learn all the history, but they're just interesting guitars. Check them out. Now, Mr. Gold, this one says we shouldn't touch it. Is it okay?
It's okay. I trust you. I have a feeling like you'll recognize this model, and this is a 1978 Gibson Les Paul Custom Silverburst.
Here we go. First official year of this color outside of prototypes. What's your story on this one?
Another early purchase of mine from Reverb maybe about 5 years ago. Late night, something came up from Lovey's Guitars, gave it a close look, and I went for it, and I haven't looked back since. Really happy with it. Nice early model. A little wear and tear, but that's to be expected. But overall, the finish is intact.
Yeah, this one is looking incredibly clean for the year. So we've got like some light impressions on the neck and then a little bit of a paint wear rub here, but usually it's way worse than that on these things. I mean, especially first year. That's nice. So our next one here, we've got a signature silkscreen. I think I know about this one, but can you tell us a little bit about it?
Yeah, it's the Dave Grohl signature ES335 or DG335.
What drew you to want to get one of these?
I just love Dave Grohl. This is one where he's, my guitar hero, one of them. Him and Mike Campbell, I would say probably. Was always holding out for the Pelham Blue, but it's just prices were way too high on that one. I just wanted one. And I believe you and I had actually done a trade to make this one happen. I love it. Happy to have it.
I remember when I first got this one, I was like you, I wanted the Pelham Blue, but the gold ended up looking so good in person. I guess with your name being Mr. Gold, it works.
Doesn't hurt.
Our next one's looking like an SG.
Yeah, so this is a Gary Clark Jr. SG, I think 2018 in red. For no other reason than I think Gary Clark's awesome.
How do you feel about these P90S pickups?
They take some getting used to. I'm more of a player that I tinker around at home, so I don't need it to be spot on. They're not my favorite, but I just love the look of it and I like the feel of it. But, for somebody who just kind of noodles around at home, the sound doesn't need to be perfect for me, but they're not my favorite ones.
I wasn't a big fan of the P90S pickups either. That said, I'm still okay with it. I really hope that his Flying V still comes out one day. But now this one might look familiar again, but it's a different color. The yellow finish became kind of infamous because it had a bunch of finish checking, so these became instant collector's items if you could find one that did not have the finish checking. So how long did it take you to find one that didn't have the finish checking?
It actually didn't take long at all. So when Gary Clark announced that he was coming out with this run, I contacted Wildwood out in Colorado and put in a pre-order for it. They sent it. And I was just one of the lucky ones. I believe it was in the middle of winter that I got it. And for whatever reason, mine didn't have finish checking. I just got lucky.
Fantastic. You definitely got lucky. Now we got some sort of a semi-hollow from Gibson Memphis. Is this the only Memphis one in your collection?
This is the only Memphis one in my collection, yeah. My father took a tour of the Gibson Memphis factory years back. got really excited, although he's not a player, wanted to start playing. So he found, I think on eBay, the ES335 here in what he calls Beale Street Blue. And it's got a great top to it. It's not my favorite player. I don't love the neck, but my dad gave it to me and I keep it for sentimental reasons. And it's got a great look to it.
I 100% agree. This is a nice one. One of my favorites so far. One of those cool ones with the Memphis decal on the back too. As far as the neck profile, is it because it's more of a D shape? Is that why you're not digging it?
Yeah, I like when they're a little bit more rounded.
Rounded.
Yeah.
So for the viewers, that means you've got like a little bit of a slope over here, but then the back of the neck becomes really rather flat. So it's good for certain styles, but some guys like it when it's a little bit more fuller and fits into your hand.
So that guitar I've probably had the longest. My dad gave it to me and that inspired me to start taking lessons. I'd say that was probably about 7 or 8 years ago.
So guitar collecting is kind of a newer thing for you then?
Yeah, I've been doing it now for about 6, 7 years. I would almost not even call my dad giving me that guitar the beginning of collecting. It was the beginning of me wanting to take lessons. And then after about a year of taking lessons, I got the collecting bug.
Looks like we got another SG signature. Who's this model?
This is the Derek Trucks model. For no other reason than I think it looks awesome.
So did you buy this one brand new?
I did not. No, I discovered it a little bit later and I bought it, I believe, from Thunder Road. I want to say it was about $1,500 at the time.
At the Sweetwater blowout, they were as cheap as $1,100, which was the best time to buy. I remember that was like one of the first brand new guitars I had bought 4 of them out of. Today, this is like a $2,000 to $2,500 plus guitar. I've always loved these because of their fake vibrola plate, because those things, they just don't stay in tune the best for me. And to have it, it's cosmetically really cool, but you still have the stop bar tailpiece. So it sounds like you still got a good deal even on the used market.
Yeah, I think it was probably just the state of the market at that time. I've been watching a little bit. I don't think I necessarily got lucky. I just was looking in the right year and got a good deal. And it came from Thunder Road, so they knew what they were doing, pricing it. And but it's in pretty good shape, pretty clean as far as I could tell.
So now it looks like we're looking at a Lizzie Hale model. So is this white or the black one?
This is white.
Awesome.
This is what happens when you go onto Guitar Center and get lucky once in a while.
So you found yourself a good deal.
Good deal. It's got the binding cracks along the fretboard. And other than that, I think it's in fairly good shape. The nice thing about buying a used guitar from Guitar Center, though, is if it doesn't work out, there's 4 of them near me that I could return it to pretty easily. But this one I kept.
That works out great. See, I have to drive an hour to get to a Guitar Center. So do you have any of the other Lizzies in your collection?
I don't.
You have a particularly nice fretboard on this example. Like, it's got a lot of nice wood grain to it.
Yeah, I really like the fretboard on it. The black one was tempting, but I did watch your review of that, and the fretboard tooling marks and the rich light was a little bit of a turnoff for me. The red one that recently came out is just not for me. This one kind of checked all the boxes.
I would like to see a reissue of these. I think they're popular enough. They're just so cool with their matching headstock and the all-white blinginess. Similar to you, the black ones just had terrible quality control, which was unfortunate, but it was a very cheap way to get an Explorer Custom back when these were relatively affordable. This doesn't look like a Gibson case. What's going on here?
Yeah, this is something different, pretty different. It's by a company called Mule out in Michigan by a guitar maker named Matt.
Is it solid body or is it semi-hollow?
Well, you'll see.
Oh. Resonator, but not?
It's a resonator with a wood body. It's called the Mule Mavis. It's something different. It takes some getting used to, but it's fun. It's got its own sound. I think a lot of people use these guitars for slide. It's got that steel kind of sound to it, but with the wood. It's definitely a unique sound, and you can have a lot of fun with it and do a lot of different things. I think you'd hear it in a lot of country music, some rock. I'm not a great slide guitarist, but I strive to learn how, and I love supporting boutique guitar makers, and I think what they're creating is really artwork. So I was happy to have this one just for its look and its feel.
So just picking this up out of the case, what I found kind of interesting is A, the neck profile I would call it a soft V shape. It really fills your hand without like becoming too pointy. So, I mean, even in the camera, you guys can see here how it just like slopes up and becomes really large and then gets a little bit softer. But it just gets rid of all the shoulder. And then you've got this like natural neck binding type thing. It looks like it's just a wooden material. That's pretty cool. And then I like how the body, it reminds me of like an ES-125 arch top or something, because it does have a raised back. So what can you tell us about this one, Mr. Gold?
So this one's a little bit different too. This was given to me by my friend Ross, and it was made by a guy named Jeff out in Western Massachusetts. Something like an SG, but it's also its own kind of guitar, and it sounds awesome.
I love that the body is so small, but yet still kind of exotic. Kind of reminds me of like some BC Rich guitars, but now that I turn it around, it's cool. It's got the multi-pieces within the body. And then it kind of reminds me of an L5S, except for it doesn't have the wedge shape to it. It's got a very cool vintage looking top. And our headstock is looking like this. Very cool. Now, guitar number 2. What can you tell me about this?
This guitar is from a company called Wide Sky. When I say company, it really is one guy named Patch, who's out in Hawaii. I found his guitars because, again, I'm a huge Gary Clark Jr. fan. He played one of his guitars, and I just love them. You'll see a few of these.
It's a nice little heel design right here. It's there, but not completely in your way. And it's a rather thin-bodied, kind of Les Paul style instrument. But then you've got a lot of like vintage arch top.
Great look, great sound. It does have a big volute.
I was just about to make mention of it. It almost looks like somebody just slapped that on there. That's funny. That'll definitely protect it. Guitar number 3 has got a pretty interesting, what is that, ash wood grain back?
Yep, so this is made by Asher Guitars, Bill Asher out in California.
Ooh, that's got a nice top.
Nice Koa top to it that I saw the top on Instagram once, and he didn't have a neck on it yet, so I asked him about the top, and he put it together for me. He makes great guitars. It's that Telly style. I had him do the inlay on the headstock custom for me, named after my wife Rose. She can't have you sell the guitar if it's named after her.
So not only do you have like a really nice top on this thing, but you got the cool rope binding around it too. Yeah, that I can see why you fell in love with that. That's cool. But this next one, when you first kind of showed me the side profile, I thought it was like one of those rarities Telecasters, but what actually is this?
So this is a Fender custom shop, master built by Ron Thorne, Carina Telly with a P90 in the neck, and it sounds awesome. And Ron Thorne, I think you've talked about him in the past too, makes great guitars. I love this guitar a lot.
Yeah, so that's Carina neck, Carina body, and then he's got the tortoiseshell binding around it just to make it a little bit more fancy. And then you've got the P90 in the neck position. That's pretty interesting. How do you like those tones?
I love those tones. I think it's a great combination to have them both on. Ron Thorne is obsessed with finding the right piece of wood. I'm not really on Instagram anymore, but when I was, I'd love to watch his videos and have him pick out the wood that he's going to use for guitars because he picks out great pieces.
I agree. He did great on this one. That's a lot of movement for Carina. So this one's looking a little bit familiar to something else that we saw.
Yep, this is another Wide Sky. This is probably his most popular model. The name of it's escaping me right now, but it's that's very much like the one Gary Clark Jr. had. That was the first one that I got of his, with the P90 style pickups, F-holes, and it just sounds awesome.
Yeah, I like the kind of rustic look of the finishing on the hardware, and then you've got this kind of rusticy looking satin finish on it. But yeah, it's still got some figuring within it. It's nice black binding, multi-ply with a little bit of cream mixed in. Then the wood on the back has some good chatoyant movement. And again, can't forget these giant volutes. And now I'm noticing he has like actual multi-layers of the wood on the back, so that's probably how he helps create these big things to protect them. That's cool. Our next one's got a big V-shaped neck to it. So what can you tell us about this custom shop?
So this is a Fender custom shop, the 70th anniversary one that came out. So that would be 2021. They had 3 different versions of this, I believe. Fender USA, then Fender Custom Shop Team Built, and then the Master Built one. So this is a custom shop Team Built one. And it's great look, great sound. The neck is ridiculously comfortable.
I think I ended up reviewing the USA version. So you guys can check that out on my channel if you're interested, but here's the real deal. Now we've got another wide sky, so all the same headstock and volute shenanigans going on here, but I like this one. It's 335 in style. What made you want to pick this one up besides looking awesome?
So Patch was trying something new, a different model. I think he calls it the Tawa, but yeah, it's kind of like between a 339 and a 335 body. Beautiful look, beautiful top, and it sounds great. Because his other guitars sound awesome too. They are a little small. This one's just a touch bigger. It's got a good feel to it. But I was just happy to support him trying a new model out, so I bought one.
Yeah, I love the back on this. The color. This is a little bit more traditional 335. Like sometimes you can find them that still have this style of tailpiece. So it's more familiar to me, and I think that's why I'm really gravitating towards this. I'd love to see the mod collection do a finish like this, because I mean, these are kind of thin satin finishes, and it just gives it a really rustic look and vibe. So now we're getting into the nitty-gritty of it. Is this a custom shop?
This is not a custom shop. This is a custom color Strat from 1962, Fiesta Red. Almost all original. New frets, new nut. And part of the reason why I'm selling guitars to you today, that you'll see another time, is to make this purchase.
Yeah, so I've never actually seen like the Fiesta Red color in person. For some reason, I just think we're having a party and it'd be like a more vibrant red, but it's almost like a pink color. That's kind of cool.
Yeah, it is. It definitely doesn't strike you as Fiesta. I mean, it might have looked different in 1962 for all we know, but now it definitely is more of a pink.
Looks like somebody had a coil lead that kind of impressed your finish here. That's always kind of cool to see.
I've actually wondered what that was. I couldn't really place what those marks were, but that sounds right.
Now our next one here is absolutely gorgeous if you like the darker red hue. Noticeably heavier than your other one that we just had.
Yeah, so this is the Candy Apple Red Strat from 1964. You can see a lot more wear. The finish is hanging on still though. Nice dark fretboard. This one probably says more of a party than the Fiesta Red one does. It looks like it's been to a few more parties, but it sounds great. Plays awesome.
Looking pretty cool. You got a little bit of flame figuring in the neck. Not too much, but enough to be excited about. Oh, I like the headstock there. That's got even more figuring to it. Where did you get this one from?
I got that one from Well Strung Guitars in Long Island.
Very nice. They've got some great stuff. And our last one tonight looks a little bit more traditional as compared to those crazy custom colors, but I really like this.
Yeah, this is a 1955 Strat in the two-tone burst. Got this one from Retro Fret Guitars in Brooklyn. It's a great look. It's more for its historic meaning. It's not the greatest playing guitar, but it's in great shape. One of the earlier models, and it does sound good, but not as good as the early 60s Strats do.
I wonder if you're a setup away on this one from being better, because taking it out of the case, I noticed it's got kind of a musty smell to it. I notice sometimes those guitars, maybe they've absorbed some moisture or something, and maybe that's why it like kind of deadened its resonancy. I could see like your frets could probably use polished up. Take this in, get it a professional setup and a polish job. I'd do it if we had the time, but unfortunately, that's all we can share for today. But who knows, maybe we'll visit Mr. Gold another time. All right, thank you, Gold, for sharing your collection with us.
Thank you for making the trip. It was great having you.
All right, Troglodytes, if you're confused about what's going on here, Mr. Gold is one of my oldest customers that I remember. Back when I first started buying and selling guitars, I've sold him some choice pieces. A few of them I've wanted back. However, he found a very rare model guitar on his local Craigslist that forced me to take a road trip out to the East Coast. So we figured what a better time to make that deal happen when I can just pick the guitars up when I'm getting that other guitar. So we will see those in a future unboxing episode, and I hope you enjoyed taking a look at Mr. Gold's collection. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and we'll see you tomorrow on the next one. Take care. If you enjoyed tonight's episode, consider subscribing. I post videos like this every day. And you might even enjoy this next one.